My sister demanded I change my baby's name, or she'd cut me off forever. I, 29F, am currently 7 months pregnant with my first child, a girl, and my husband, 31M, and I are over the moon. We've been together for 6 years, married for 3, and this baby is something we've been hoping and trying for after some fertility issues. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal for us. My sister Rachel, 33F, however, has managed to make this about herself in the most baffling, entitled, self-absorbed way imaginable. But to understand how this blew up, you need to know the history between us. Rachel and I were never close growing up. She was the oldest and naturally slid into the bossy older sibling role, but it didn't stop there. She became the center of my parents' universe. She got the best of everything. Piano lessons, gymnastics, a brand new car at 17. Meanwhile, I was told we couldn't afford extracurriculars, and I rode a bike until I could afford a used car myself at 20. My parents were never mean to me, just neglectful in that subtle, insidious way where you realize you were loved, just not prioritized. Rachel loved the attention. She expected it. And as we became adults, she didn't change. In fact, she got worse. She became one of those boss babe Instagram types, always posting hashtag self-care pics in matching workout sets, using phrases like, cut out the toxic people who won't clap for your glow-up, and turning every conversation back to herself. Every time I got a promotion or hit a life milestone, she'd find a way to one-up me or act like I was copying her. So, when I announced I was pregnant, I should have expected some drama. I just didn't think it would come in the form of baby naming blackmail. It was a Sunday brunch, the kind of family get-together my mom insists on hosting monthly, even though Rachel is the only one who seems to enjoy them. It was me, my husband Jake, Rachel, her husband Trevor, a human Labrador retriever, friendly, clueless, and completely under her thumb, and our parents. We were all sitting in the backyard, eating overcooked quiche and pretending to care about each other's lives when I stood up and made the announcement. So, we have some news, I said, squeezing Jake's hand. I'm pregnant, due in December. Cue the predictable reactions. My mom gasped, stood up to hug me, and cried. My dad smiled but said nothing as per usual. Jake was beaming. Rachel? She blinked. Then she smiled, but not with her eyes. Wow, she said. That's so great for you. Congratulations. No hug. No questions. Just that fake smile that didn't quite reach her eyebrows. Trevor, bless his heart, was genuinely happy for us. That's amazing. Uncle Trevor is ready, he laughed. Rachel just sipped her mimosa and changed the subject to how she was thinking about getting a second dog. Fast forward to about a month ago. We'd found out the baby is a girl, yay. And after going through a million options, Jake and I landed on a name that made us both tear up the first time we said out loud. Lila Grace. It was simple, sweet, feminine without being frilly. Lila had always been a name I loved since college, and Grace was my grandmother's name, a woman who'd been one of the only warm, supportive presences in my childhood. So when my mom called and asked if we'd picked a name yet, I told her. I was excited. She said it was beautiful. I should have known better, because 2 days later, I got a text from Rachel. Rachel, Mom said you're naming the baby Lila Grace? Me, yes, smiley face. Why? Rachel, you can't do that. Me, what? Rachel, I already picked that name for my daughter. Here's the thing. Rachel doesn't have a daughter. She's not even pregnant. She and Trevor have talked about having kids someday, but she's been putting it off for years because she's focused on her business and brand. So I responded, me, wait, are you pregnant? Rachel, not yet, but I've had that name saved for years. You know I want to name my first daughter after myself, Rachel Grace. Me, but Lila isn't your name. Rachel, no, but Grace is. It's part of the name I'm using. I already told Mom years ago. I just didn't think you'd steal it. She then went on a bizarre rant about how I've always tried to copy her and how it was unfair for me to take a name she emotionally claimed. Naturally, the next family brunch turned into a battleground. Rachel waited until everyone was sitting and chatting, then went for the kill. So, she said loudly, Are you still planning to name the baby Lila Grace, even though I already claimed Grace? I stared at her, stunned that she would actually ambush me in front of everyone. Jake looked at me like, "Are you okay to handle this?" And I just nodded. "Yes, we are," I said. "Lila Grace is the name we chose. Grace is Grandma's name, and I want to honor her." Rachel rolled her eyes dramatically. "Yeah, but you know I've had that name in my notes since college." Jake leaned in. "You're seriously saying you own the name Grace?" Rachel didn't even blink. "No, but she knows that I emotionally committed to it." I looked at my mom, hoping for backup, but she just looked awkward and said, "Well, I'm sure you girls can work it out." "Thanks, Mom." Then Rachel dropped a bomb. "If you name your baby that, I won't come to the baby shower, or the birth, or anything. I'll go no contact. I'm not going to be disrespected like this." There was silence. Everyone was staring at me, and I smiled. "Okay," I said. Rachel blinked. "Wait, what?" I said, "Okay, if that's what you feel you need to do, then go ahead." Jake reached over and squeezed my knee under the table. I was shaking, not from fear, but from the sudden, surreal realization that I was done letting Rachel dictate the emotional weather in every room she walked into, done shrinking myself to avoid her tantrums. "You're really going to choose a name over your own sister?" she hissed. "No," I said calmly. "I'm choosing my daughter over your ego." Rachel stormed out. Trevor apologized to me in the driveway and said he didn't agree with her, but didn't want to stir the pot. My mom texted me later saying she hoped I'd still consider compromising for the sake of peace. Jake and I are standing firm. This is our child. We aren't letting anyone, not even family, dictate how we honor her. As of now, Rachel hasn't contacted me. She's blocked me on Instagram and unfriended Jake on Facebook. Drama. But honestly, I feel lighter, freer, and if she really never speaks to me again over name, well, that kind of says everything, doesn't it? After Rachel's dramatic brunch exit and social media purge, things got quiet. At first, it felt like peace. I'd expected daily texts from my mom urging me to make amends, or cryptic social media posts from Rachel about fake sisters. But nothing. Just silence. I'd be lying if I said I didn't keep checking my phone in the days that followed. Not because I missed her, but because I knew Rachel. Silence from her wasn't calm. It was a storm gathering in the distance. Jake and I spent the next week trying to focus on ourselves. We worked on the nursery, picked out baby clothes, and went to my OB checkup. Everything looked healthy. Our daughter, Lila Grace, was measuring well, and I'd started to feel those flutters that make everything so real. But then the text started. The first was from my mom. "Mom, I really wish you would just talk to Rachel. She's very hurt." Me. She threatened to go no contact with me over a name. I didn't do anything wrong. "Mom, she feels like you disrespected her. And you know how important family unity is." Me. "Mom, she made a threat, not a request. And I didn't steal anything. Mom, could you at least consider using a different middle name? Just to make peace?" I stared at the message for a long time. Then I locked my phone and dropped it on the counter, like it was radioactive. Jake came up behind me and saw my expression. "She texted, didn't she?" he asked. "My mom, same thing. Want me to change the name to keep the peace." Jake exhaled sharply. "How many times are you expected to shrink yourself for the sake of Rachel's peace? When you get peace, God, I love that man." A few days later, I got added to a new family group chat titled Sisters First to Hearts People with Bunny Ears. The only members were me, Rachel, and my mom. I opened it hesitantly. "Rachel, I'm willing to forgive and forget if you reconsider the name." "Rachel, I'm not trying to control you. I just don't want to feel betrayed." "Mom, this is so encouraging to see. Maybe this can be the start of healing." "Rachel, I mean it's my niece. I should get a say." "Me, you get to be an aunt. That's your say." "Rachel, you're making this hostile again." I left the group chat. Around this time, Jake's mom, Linda, called. She and Jake's dad have always been kind, supportive, and, frankly, better parental figures than my own. She sounded hesitant at first. Sweetheart, I don't want to add to your stress, but is everything okay with your sister? I sighed. Short version? She thinks I stole her imaginary baby name and threatened to never speak to me again. Linda paused. She sounds unstable. Tell me about it. You and Jake should know. Whatever you name this baby, we'll love her the same. But don't let anyone bully you into giving up something meaningful to you. I nearly cried right there. This was the kind of support I've been aching for from my own mom. Then it happened. An email from Rachel with the subject line, "Final boundary regarding your baby's name." It was almost hilarious in its professionalism, written like a corporate HR notice. Dear Emily, after much thought, I've decided that I cannot emotionally support your decision to use the name Grace in your child's name. Given our complicated history and my long-standing attachment to the name, which I communicated clearly in the past, I feel profoundly disrespected and hurt by your insistence on proceeding. I want to be part of your child's life, as an involved aunt, mentor, and friend, but I need my feelings to be considered. Therefore, I am setting a boundary. If you name your child Lila Grace, I will not attend the baby's shower, hospital birth, or have any contact with you or the baby going forward. This is not a punishment. It's self-protection. You have until the baby's shower to decide. Warmly, Rachel. Jake read it over my shoulder and started laughing. Not just a chuckle, but a full-on I can't believe this is real laugh. She actually wrote warmly. After threatening to excommunicate herself, I didn't reply, but I did forward the email to my mom with a note. This is who you want me to compromise with? By this point, my baby shower was about 3 weeks away. My best friend, Hannah, was throwing it, and she was Team Sanity all the way. I hadn't told her much at first, try and keep the drama from spilling over, but when I showed her the email, her mouth dropped open. We decided Rachel was no longer invited. I wasn't going to let her turn my baby's shower into her next battlefield. I told my mom the guest list was final, and Rachel would not be attending. She wasn't happy. Emily, you're being petty. No, I'm being protective. That weekend, Rachel took to Instagram. She posted a black and white selfie of herself crying, yes, really, with a long caption. Sometimes the people you love the most will twist the knife. Family doesn't always mean love. Sometimes it means betrayal wrapped in a smile. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing boundaries. I'm choosing me. Hashtag family drama. Hashtag boundaries are healthy. Hashtag healing journey. Hashtag my truth. The comments were what you'd expect. All her sycophantic followers gassing her up. You're so strong, babe, flex biceps. Cut off the toxic ones. You'll be a better mom than whoever that is smiling face with hard eyes. Jake and I sat on the couch reading them and eating popcorn. If she wanted to make herself the victim to a bunch of strangers, fine. Let her lie to the internet. I wasn't backing down. About a week before the baby's shower, I got a call from my mom, but this time she sounded weird, hesitant, nervous. Emily, there's something I think you should know. Apparently, my late grandmother, the one I was naming my daughter after, had left behind a small trust fund for any great-grandchildren born after her death. But she left a letter too, and in it, she'd explicitly said that she hoped the first great-granddaughter would be named after her. Name Grace, she wrote. It would make me so happy to see little Grace's name continue in the family. If any of you choose to do that, know you've made this old woman's heart sing from beyond the grave. My mom admitted she hadn't shared it sooner because she was trying not to escalate the situation. I couldn't believe it. My grandmother, the only one in my family who ever made me feel truly loved, had wanted this name carried on, and Rachel wanted to hijack that. I sent Rachel a copy of the letter. No commentary, just a screenshot. She hasn't replied. The baby's shower is days away. Rachel is still radio silent, but I have a strong feeling she's not done. If I know her, she's either planning a last-minute stunt or recruiting my mom for one. Whatever happens, this baby is going to enter the world with a name full of love, not manipulation. Her name will be Lila Grace, and that's final. The morning of the baby's shower was beautiful, literally and metaphorically. Sunny, breezy, not too hot, and it felt like a real turning point. like I could breathe again. Like this was finally going to be about me and Jake and our baby girl, not my sister's ego. Hannah had truly outdone herself. The backyard was strung with pastel banners and blush balloons. There was a floral arch with a little sign that read, "Welcome baby Lila Grace 2 Hearts." And beneath it, a table filled with cupcakes, mocktails, and the most gorgeous diaper cake I've ever seen. I cried a little. Blame the hormones. Guests trickled in. College friends, co-workers, Jake's cousins, a few neighbors, and some old family friends. My mom was there, too. Quieter than usual, like she didn't know how to place herself without Rachel orbiting the room. Jake's parents showed up early and brought this adorable vintage-style bassinet they'd refurbished themselves. It was perfect. Everything was. Until it wasn't. About 45 minutes into the party, while I was opening gifts, I noticed a wave of tension ripple through the crowd, that hushed shuffle of people trying not to stare. I looked up and felt my stomach drop. Rachel, wearing a flowing white maxi dress and oversized sunglasses, like she was making a red carpet entrance. She was not invited. She had not RSVP'd. She had threatened to go no contact if we used the name Grace. And now she was walking into the baby shower with a smirk like she was the one being celebrated.